Hey, how you doing? Let's go. Chivalry II has been on the cards for quite some time now. In June of 2019, just over a month after the release of Mordhau, coincidence? I don't know. Torn Banner released their first announcement trailer for the sequel to one of the most popular titles in medieval gaming. The original Chivalry took the genre and did pretty much a massive hard campaign to push it into the mainstream, and to some extent at the time, it was a success. The new game, however, is hoping to build upon what was previously accomplished in every way possible. The scale of the battles just looks like it's been brought up to the next level, with insane sieges, village battles, and objectives for you and your fellow knights to take. With the gruesome combat and gory deaths making a return, Chivalry II is hoping to recapture the dirt and dust of grueling fighting during the medieval ages. The game, however, will feature crossplay across all devices, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Well, this is where there was a bit of controversy on the initial release. Chivalry 2 on PC at least will be an Epic Games Store exclusive. At this point, I don't really care what platform it's on. I mean, it's the difference between clicking one extra button, but I know there's still many people out there for some reason that actually care about this, so it may have somewhat of a negative effect on sales. However, there is a lot to be said about the comparisons that you can make between this and, well, Mordhau, the game that was released just a few months before. And as I said, it seemed a bit of a coincidence after the success of that, we then got an announcement trailer for Chivalry 2. Despite this, I think they have their own place on the market. For one, I think Chivalry 2 itself offers larger scale, but let's be honest, less refined medieval combat compared to what Mordhau had. But hey, I did a full video breaking that down, so if you haven't already, go and check it out. Currently though, we don't have any initial release date other than 2021, but from the gameplay it looks rather finished and it looks like it's in a decent stage, so we may see it sooner than you think. Age of Empires 4 was announced back in 2017 with a somewhat cryptic trailer that seemed to have very little relation to the actual gameplay that we saw in 2019. I mean, it goes through time periods that have been covered in the past AoE games, yet the game is now confirmed to be just medieval, so I have no idea what that trailer was about. But in Xbox On in 2019, we got our first bit of actual gameplay and a full trailer about the game. Putting us back into the medieval era that we loved from previous installments, we can expect much larger battles, more siege weaponry, and new factions, even a whole new overhaul when it comes to that ever-important graphical fidelity. Very little info, however, has been given so far, but it seems like we're harking back to the days of Age of Empires 2, the best AoE game. Fight me. I will fight anyone that disagrees with that. With swords and spears, crossbows and bows. However, I feel this is not the final hurrah for Age of Empires. I feel like Age of Empires 4 is more of a reintroduction or a reboot of the franchise. A franchise that we have seen is now being paid more and more attention to by the developers. You've seen all the definitive edition releases. I think this is hinting at something. I think Age of Empires 4 is giving us what we know. It's giving us that medieval setting that we're all very comfortable with from Age of Empires 2 to prepare us for the future of more Age of Empires games. But for now, all we know that the game is coming and should be in 2021. Microsoft recently stated that the game is now in a very playable state and has been for quite some time and is almost complete. So strap on your salopettes, buckle up your sheath, not in that way, and mount your stallion and be ready to charge into battle in Age of Empires 4. Before I continue, if you have it in your cold black hearts, please feel the need to subscribe. It would make a small child very happy. Not me, obviously. I have a younger brother called Nbugu. He's 4. Anyway, the Stronghold series has always been a staple of strategy games and especially built its name during the medieval period and setting. But this time Firefly Studios are taking place east. The Mongols, Khans, Japanese and Chinese cities. It's going to look into a place that hasn't been done by that many game series, and definitely not in the Stronghold franchise. If I'm gonna be honest, this game is very much a meh title for me. I've enjoyed what I've played from Stronghold games in the past, however, for me at least, they're somewhat dated, and even now in 2021, it looks like they're not really advancing the game franchise that much. Stronghold Warlords looks like it's gonna be a good bit of entertainment for a few hours, but not much more than that. Innovation needs to be done to bring these kind of strategy games back into the limelight as they once were in the early 2000s, yet little of that seems to be happening here. Nonetheless, it's your typical RTS, taking charge of a faction, building settlements and strongholds in order to create armies that can be taken to opposing lands to fight for victory and glory. Whilst it may be some people's cup of tea, I feel like Stronghold Warlords is going to be one of those purchases that people make but never really get all that hyped for. Okay, it kind of sounds like I'm just being mean to the game at that point, but hey, what do you expect when they go up against the final game on this list? But Stronghold Warlords will be the first of these games to release on the 26th of January this year, so it might even already be out by the time you're watching this. Who wants to have a bit of a laugh? Look, I could tell you a joke or I could just mention Skull and Bones. Yeah, I know, I said it. Skull and Bones, the Assassin's Creed pirate ship inspired game that has been in the works for at least 45 years at this point.
It's been 84 years.
Promised to us back in 2017, Ubisoft wanted to create a ship warfare game that recaptured the essence of the good old and ye old pirate days. It came as no surprise really that after the success of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the naval combat genre is now pushing it to the next level with all-out multiplayer skirmishes, black powder, muskets, cannons. It's a Black Sail fan's wet dream. But yet, where is it? I made a video a few months ago on the whereabouts of Skull and Bones, and even then I was sure we'd hear something soon, but alas, nothing has been said even from that point. Still not a peep from the Ubisoft sheep. So the big question really is, are we actually going to get it in 2021? Well, if I'm going to be honest, who knows? The most recent date it's been pushed back to is about April of this year, but no official release date has been stated, and if it goes by anything that we've seen in the last few years, it's likely that the game is even going to be pushed back further to 2022. But hey, people are still hyped for this, right? No? Not really? Oh dear. Before we get into the final games to come in 2021, I want to give an honourable mention to Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. I couldn't put this at the number one spot, specifically because I've done it about 53 times in the last 2 years, but technically the game already released. Okay, it was early access back in March of 2020, yet they did say that it shouldn't be in that state for longer than a year. So maybe we're going to see the full official release in 2021. Hopefully around the March time, but we should get an announcement fairly soon. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Keep the dream alive, because, otherwise one day you'll go, oh, could I have made it?
Yeah.
And if you keep trying, at least then when it doesn't happen, you can go, at least I gave it a go,
Manor Lords. No, trust me, it is a different name. Honestly, I have to say, this game looks incredible, but I goddamn hate that title. Nonetheless, Manor Lords is looking to take the medieval city builder to another level. You have your regular features such as AI building, farming, mining and smithing, but with additions of certain regions and select resources, meaning trading with AIs and cities is necessary in order to become prosperous. However, being a lord in this town is no easy task, balancing between taxes, happiness, efficiency, and of course, security. Being able to build up an army with the population that you already have in your settlement, then training them up to certain levels of soldier, equipping them with the arms and armors that you have made yourself. Finding that middle ground between being prosperous but also strong is gonna be a massive feature of Manor Lords. You need to be someone that can inject fear and respect in all that they meet, but also be proud and loved by your own people. Defending from oncoming enemies or heading out yourself on a campaign to take land and resources that you so deserve. The battles do have a very similar Total War mechanic and give that incredible RTS feeling. However, from what is being shared on the Manor Lords Twitter, the details and in-depth nature of how the combat is being approached, I feel like it's going to be more of an experience like we haven't seen before. If you want to know more about this game, I have multiple videos on my channel talking about each point and going through everything that we've been shown so far, so go check that out. But the release date isn't confirmed. However, the game is now wishlistable on Steam, and there have been hints and talks of some sort of game playable state within the year, and I can't wait for Manor Lords. And there we have it. Give me your list down in the comments. I'd love to see if you're waiting for any of the same historical games as I am. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.